Thank you for joining us today. Today is a special day for me because I have a brilliant guest, our Italian professor joining us from Rome Business School, from Rome, Italy. Yes, Professor Valerio Mancini. Ciao, Professor. How are you?
Ciao, good morning, buongiorno. How are you? Very well, thank you.
Thank you so much for finding time. I know that you are very busy and you have many meetings. So thank you so much because this interview, it's not an interview. This conversation is really important for us because we have had a great experience with you as our guest professor. And now I would like to chat a little bit with you about some private things, if you don't mind. Will you allow me?
Yeah, of course, no problem. I'm here for that.
Thank you so much. So my first question to you is how and where you mastered the English language so well? Your English is perfect, so please share how you managed to learn it.
Yes, thank you for your feedback about my English. My English is not so perfect, but thank you very much. And really, I started to study English here in Italy at school, but the level of school here in Italy, for example, is not so good. So I really improved my English skills studying in London for some summer period when I was 16. So when I was teenager. And then also the best way to improve English is living in another country. And in my case, I started to study outside the Italy at 21. I went to Montpellier in France. I spoke there French, but also English, of course, with foreigner. And finally, the best way also is studying English, like here in Rome Business School, and the opportunity that we have to share with you, with MHR, these international students. And this is very important because for us, every day I improve my English skills, start teaching in English. And you as students also improve your English skill because you learn in English. Also, I studied English for 2 months in United States, in San Diego. I was connected, I was part of the San Diego State University in United States, California in 2005. So I also studied in international master there. And also my LLM, the Master of Laws, was entirely in English. And I think that is very important to have English class also in the university, because now we know that the key for the future is to have a high level of English skill.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Thank you so much. And
thank you.
You brought me to my next question. You have traveled so much. You have even lived in some of the countries. So could you share your opinion, share the experience? Which of those countries you love the most?
Yes, as you mentioned, Catherine, I lived in different countries, and also even for my personal love to travel. That's something that I started to do when I was teenager. So when I was 15, and the opportunity to travel, I take all time. When I start to have some money in my wallet, I decide to invest in travel. It's for that now I haven't money in my wallet because I always travel it, and I never buy a new house, for example, but or a car. I have a little Panda, but I prefer to spend to travel. But starting from my background, I decided to study abroad, and in this case, I was a student in the Catholic University in Milan. And we are lucky, I have to say, because then when I travel in other country, I can say that outside European Union is not so easy to have some special program like Erasmus. That is a great program when you can share, when you receive money, a little amount each month to travel, to study abroad. And this is very important because I started to study in 2004. I was in Milan. I started to study in Montpellier for 1 year in the south of France. And then study also I went after Montpellier. I changed 8 countries and more than 14 cities. And this is wonderful, but sometimes it's also challenging because you have to change culture, you have to change habits, you have to change home and friends. But it is great because now I can say that I have friends worldwide, also even in Syria, in Damascus. That's great, and in Belarus, in Minsk. That's a new wave. So after Montpellier, I studied in I don't remember, in Buenos Aires, and I start my second life with Latin America. That's I'm in love with this continent. It's a wonderful country, Argentina. I studied 1 year in Buenos Aires. After Buenos Aires, I reached the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime for an internship in 2008. After 2008, this internship was in Vienna, Austria. I stayed 3 months in Vienna. After Vienna, I was called for United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime as a consultant in Bogota, Colombia. I stayed for many years in Colombia. My former wife, she's from Colombia too. And my son was born in Italy because after Colombia, we moved to Turin in the northwest of Italy. I stay some months in Turin working for the UNICRI, is the United Nations Crime and Justice Office. And after Turin, we went to Paris for 2 years. And after Paris, I come back in Rome in 2015. During my period in Rome, I also worked for the European Union project against drugs. I worked for the fighting on drug trafficking in Lisbon for 6 months. And my last experience abroad was again in Colombia. I worked for a consultancy for the Ministry of Justice, a consultancy for the new reform on justice of the Colombian. The new reform for justice in Colombia was very challenging, very hard work period. And after January 2020, so last year, we stopped to travel in Colombia in January to travel due to the COVID-19. And in 2018, so before I reached the Rome Business School, and it was great for me, it was one of the most interesting experience, not only in teaching, generally for work experience. I also teaching in other university that I don't mention now, but it's Rome Business School is great because you can find in a room there is really all the world. Yesterday I had class with students from France, Greece, UK, India, Canada, Italy. So really it's an amazing experience for me, and also some partnership like you can share your experience and you receive a lot.
Thank you so much. Wow, that's impressive, really. And you are a really global person. And I wanted to ask you if you could choose any of those countries to live in, like for the rest of your life, which one would you choose?
It's not so easy to say that because finally, after some years, I started to appreciate more my country also because finally, I have to say Italy is a very beautiful country, not only in terms of architecture and culture, also in terms of the beauty. It's a sunny country that for me is very important also because I love, I think in another life I come from South America because I need sun all the years. But really, Rome is a very beautiful city. At the same time, it's a complicated city because generally it's full of tourism. It's very expensive. It's not so easy to live here like people imagine. So the city branding, let us say the brand of Rome, sometimes there is a gap between the real life in Rome and something that people imagine about Rome. It's the same for Paris. I lived in Paris and say it's a beautiful city, wonderful, but to live, particularly with a family, is really hard. If I can select city, not only country, because country and city sometimes is completely different. Here, if you compare Milan or Turin with Rome, is very different. If I can select a city, I think Montpellier, for example, was a very good city because it's not huge. You are near. You have very good level of culture, very good university. lot of students, because when you have students, when you have universities in a small city, the city is always happy. You can
Alive,
touch the
yes,
happiness.
alive. Yeah, I know.
Align, exactly. When also I select two countries, Argentina and France. Buenos Aires because I love it. It's really, I can say you have to touch it because it's an emotional country full of crazy people, and also the cultural level is so high compared with other countries like Colombia that I love, but sometimes in Bogota you really feel a foreigner because it's not so easy to change completely your habit. The city is very polluted. Bogota is the traffic is crazy, and also is not so safe, we have to say, because now I think like a father, not only as a citizen, and you really change the chip in your brain. But if I have to select one city where I lived, the best one for me in Europe is Lisbon, because you can share in Lisbon the high cultural level. Also is an amazing and wonderful city, and is not so huge like Buenos Aires or like Rome. Finally, it's 1 million inhabitants, and it's very safe, and it's full of students from overall the world. The language is a little bit an obstacle because Portuguese is not so easy to improve, and is not so common language like Spanish, English, and French.
Thank you so much. And I also had a chance to go to Lisbon because our friends live there. Not exactly in Lisbon, in Cascais. It's a town like,
Yeah, I know. It's
yeah,
very beautiful.
very beautiful. Yes, and
Oof,
I
it's
can't
amazing.
agree more with you that this is one of the best cities in the world. So I support you here.
Yeah. Really, the life is very easy there, and generally, I can consider Lisbon a smart city more than Rome. And Rome, if you haven't a car, it's very hard to live here. In comparing, for example, with Montpellier, in Paris, you can use really public transport like every day. But now the city is very important to select a smart city if you want to live there. Smart in terms of transportation, green, not pollution, because finally the future life is for smart cities. If you stay behind, like unfortunately I have to say Rome in some things, it will be very difficult to live, because now you need digitalization, good transportation, green transports. Because if you I stay 2 hours every day in the car, and I lost every day 2 hours, and it's not a
It's
yeah.
frustrating. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you. And I have a question. Like, you are working crazily much, and how do you relax? Do you have any spare time? And if yes, then what do you prefer doing?
Unfortunately, in Catherine, in the last months, relaxation is not part of my life because I generally I'm not too much busy like other colleagues, I have to say, because I try to have my time all time for sport, because I love tennis and paddle, also football. I played a lot of sport, rugby too, so I passionate sport. For that reason, I also teaching in the Master of Sports Management and Rome Business School. I was professional or rugby for some years, and finally relaxation was sport for me. But in the last months, also because I changed apartment here in Rome, and it's very hard to change apartment, to find a new apartment, to buy a house. Also because with the COVID-19, my sport team are stopped, like football, rugby. So I don't love to go to the gym. I don't love running. And for me, sport is a time to stay with people, and also relaxation for me, stay with my friend, dining during the night. We love have a dinner, for example, after class here in Rome Business School with our students, sometimes an aperitif. We are really easygoing because sometimes, it's a business school. Students are my age, and at the same time, students are professional, and we can interchange experience, and that's great too.
I wish we could do the same. And this conversation is basically something that is supposed to substitute those, dinners that students can have with their professors. So really, I wish that one day you will be able to come either to Belarus or to Damascus and share this nice, moments with our students too. So, except
Thank
for
you.
yeah, except for sports, is there any hobby like music or reading or something that you enjoy doing?
Yes, as I mentioned, Catherine, I had in fact, we consider hobby sport. For me, is also a hobby because I'm not amateur and not professional now. But really, one of my favorite, I can say, hobby, but habits is going, for example, with my son skiing because my hometown is in the mountain.
Oh,
Is near Rome, but is 1 hour 30 for Rome. Is in Abruzzo. Abruzzo is a region at east of Lazio, that is which capital is Rome. And Abruzzo, my city is L'Aquila, it is the capital of Abruzzo. This region, very beautiful in terms of nature, is in the mountain. It's very cold. You don't feel in the center of Italy, in the south of Italy. You feel like in Russia. And I love to go to the mountain skiing, but more, we have also very beautiful beach, very beautiful seaport, and I love to stay also, particularly with my son in the sea place. And when I can, I go to the beach also here in Rome because finally it's half hour, and during the weekend you can go to start in March, in April. Of course, now with COVID, everything is complicated, but generally this is my passion, hobby, we can say. And also take aperitif with colleagues and friends. That was great, but I'm sure that will be great also for the future. We can going together because in that sense, Rome is wonderful. In that sense, I can say maybe it's the best city in the world to stay just walking in the city and drink an Aperol Spritz in the streets, because Rome is very beautiful if you have nothing to do.
oh my God.
If you are a tourist, if you
Yeah.
are a tourist, is great. But if you have to work every day in this city, you feel like a strange thing in the wave, because we have not only for the architectural, we are the capital of Rome, of Italy, the capital of Lazio, the capital of Catholic religion, of course. And this is very important because we receive million, not now with COVID, now is a new city, but we receive every day million of person coming in the center of the Vatican, that is really in the center. And sometimes you really feel that every day you are completely involved in the masses of tourism. And if you have to do something easy, like parking or like have a class, you feel part of this tourism that at the beginning is great because tourists are happy. They share their happiness. After 2 years with your son going to school is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, and really, it's a challenge. Yes, I know when you're driving a car and you have to find a parking space and there is none, and oh my God. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Thank you so much for sharing. And you mentioned your experience with Rome Business School. So my question is just about the favorite subject, the favorite topics that you love teaching. What's your favorite one?
Look, I have Catherine different topics in for Rome Business School. I teach in 4 masters now. My favorite one, and because it was also my first one, is Master in Political Marketing, as you know, that I also teach for MHR. I'm teaching now in a master in political marketing, in the master of sports management, the master in tourism management, and the master in agribusiness management. And in the last week, I also started teaching in the MBA, which coordinator is my colleague Antonio Scialletti Professor Cialletti. But if I can say I have two favorite topic in general, everyone have a favorite topic to teach. My first one I can say is nation and city branding that we have had together for one reason, because it's something that I start to teach for the first time in Rome Business School. It's an experiment, because I started to say we really paid attention with this Simon Arnold, that is the author that creates the definition of nation branding, because today nations are more and more branded, like Canada. We mentioned some example like United States, and we have to reflect about that nation and city. Look the case of Dubai, that is the promotion of Dubai is like the promotion of Coca-Cola. So it's like a private promotion. And this is changing. We mentioned with you, and was great. Now is my new case study for Rome Business School, the case of Syria, that feel, of course, the frustration to be perceived completely different to the reality. So there is the great gap between image and identity. It's my favorite topic, I can say. When I teach this nation branding at school, for me is they pay to me to do something that I really love. Then that's great, because when you feel something like that, you say, that's great.
Yeah.
My second one, I'm sure that you know, is the Roman heritage. It's the Roman heritage for political marketing, because particularly here in Rome, you can feel the reality coming from the past really apply today, the concept of rhetoric, the concept of charisma, the concept of leadership. Also the leadership class are the best. The topics that I share with the MHR, really, not because we are here in this interview, are my favorite three class, I have to say.
And I'm a witness of the success of those both lectures with our students, with our guests, because one of them was the guest lecture for not just one group. And really, I myself was so impressed. You remember those messages and letters that I sent to you, really from the bottom of my heart. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great, because finally, when you stay with students, and at the end, you really feel that you want to stay more time talking with students. I call you students, but really with professionals and with person in general, not only students. When you feel that you want to stay more time, this is for me the perfect application of the concept of teaching.
Yes, thank you, thank you. I can't agree more. So please name three words that characterize you as a person.
This is very complicated. Also, I received this question during a job interview. I can say optimist. I have to put also a defect. Optimist and open-minded. Yes, really open-minded. A defect, sometimes little bit hysterical.
Hysterical or?
Yes, sometimes I can change I became nervous, but not with my students. More.
No, I
more driving in Rome, I became stressful. Yes.
And emotional. Let's put it like this.
Better, emotional.
Yeah,
is better. Yes.
I don't.
Irruent. I don't know in English the translation. Like instinctive.
Yes, I understand, because if I understand you well, and I think that I do, I will have to call myself hysterical too. But I don't want.
But you are a woman. For a woman, is more common.
Yes, I know.
You are justified.
I prefer to be called emotional.
Emotional, yeah, it's better.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And what are the three major achievements in your life that you are proud of?
First, for sure, my son. The second one, to do for jobs after many years, to do for job something that I really love, and is teaching. This is my second very important achievement for me. And the third achievement for the future, have my personal house. Yes, this is something material, but I really need my my place.
Yes, I understand. So this is your dream also, or do you have, what is your just dream in life?
My dreaming, what?
In
Sorry.
life, in life. I mean, the dream in life.
Now I reply something that could be hippie. My dream in life is to be happy.
Yes.
And happiness is something that we perceive now in more philosophical part of Professor Mancini. The happiness is something that we really reach with in our brain. So we have to find the happiness in the simple things, and this is something not original to say, but really the happiness for me is, for example, stay with my son, the time that I can stay with him, and also in we can say in last year we lost part of our happiness in general, because for me the social approach, stay with people, stay with the happy people, stay with my students, for example, stay with my colleagues. I start to understand this year that was very important. So my dream for the future is to be happy and quiet, and of course safe for the health, good health for my family. That's the most important. The rest coming in the future, also the job opportunities, the money. I really don't care about money. I'm very good to spend money, not to to receive. If you want to spend money, Catherine, come in Rome. I'm the best one, professor, to spend money.
Okay, thank you so much. When I get my next salary and the borders are open, I accept your invitation, and you have mine. Invitation to come to Belarus. Let's try and spend some money here too.
We are going to ask to our dean to put more money in the wallet for when you come here.
That's a great idea. I support you here. Thank you so much. How
Thank
old
you.
is your son? How old is he? And
He's
what's
7. He's 7, yes.
oh, 7, so sweet. And what's his name?
Sebastian.
Oh, hi,
He's,
Sebastian.
yes,
I
he's
hope
a
he will.
school.
Yeah, I hope he will watch this interview too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, time flies so fast. But before we say goodbye, could you please say some inspirational, motivational words to anyone who is going to watch us?
Yes, more than inspirational in one of, because I also wrote one part of our last employment report for Rome Business School. I was in charge of one chapter of this employment, and I think that's for the future in general, in this kind of future that we are going to live now, is the one of the key word is the multitasking, and a word that is really too used but is important, the resiliency. So to is the ability, the skill to change and adapt to the situation. This is something that I say to my students. Don't focalize too much the attention in one point, because this point could be changed in for COVID-19, for an earthquake, for something, or because you change your opinion. So don't focalize the attention too much only in one topic, and try to adapt you to the situation. This is resiliency, multitasking, because I live that. When you change countries, when you change habits, my city was destroyed in 2009 for an earthquake, L'Aquila, and I lost everything, house, cars, I lost friends too. So adapt your life to the new situation. So be multitasking, be resilience.
Wow, thank you so much. I'm so sorry for what I've just heard, but really how you coped with it, it's really an example to our students, and not just to our students, to anyone who is passing through rough times. So thank you so much for your honesty. Thank you for everything that you have shared with us. And I am dead sure that we are going to have another interviews and guest lectures. And it's always such a pleasure for us to have you in any capacity as our
Thank
professor,
you.
as a lecturer, as a speaker, and as someone who just agreed to talk to me. Thank you so much, dear Professor Valerio. Thank you.
Catherine, thank you, because for me it was a pleasure. As you know, stay with you, with in general with your colleagues too. For me was one, I can say, and I always share with my students this experience, because I have to say, I was for me was great because one was a new experience, and also, you know, it's not so easy now to share. Is easier to share my experience with students coming from France, from Spain, from Canada, but for me was something new. I received a lot from Syrian experience because for me it was new, and it's not so easy now. Go to Syria. It's not so easy for me, as a professor, to share experience with you. And for me, it was great. I always mention to my students this experience, and also mention to my colleagues this experience. So thank you very much, because finally I received maybe more than you receive.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure. And I wish that all your
Thank you.
dreams come true. And I wish that we really have a chance to meet in person for a cup of coffee or maybe something else. Anyway, thank you so much, and goodbye, dear professor.
Thank you very much. Bye bye. Have a nice day. Bye.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Ciao. Ciao.